Jazakallah khair, Brother Ahmed. Thank you so much. Let me just get the screen share started here. Okay, so before we jump into the screen, as Brother Ahmed mentioned, my name is Arif. I reside in Southern California. I've been involved with Hajj for several decades, so alhamdulillah, I hope you're in good hands. As Brother Ahmed alluded, so we're kind of transitioning from just Brother Ahmed handling the show to introducing you now to the rest of the team. So myself, for the groups that I will mention in the next slide, I will be the program manager. So basically my role is to oversee the operations and make sure that the services that you have paid for are given to you, inshallah. And to also support all the other group leaders, the imams, the sister volunteers, our support staff. Just to let you know, we're all here as a team to support you from day one until the day you return, inshallah. Okay, so once again, this is the webinar for the 14-day Medina First Majar Alkabsh packages. So if you're in one of the other streams, so for example, the Medina First 14-day in the Al Muaysam camp, your webinar is later today at 2 p.m. And then as according to the schedule, you can see we have one at 4 p.m. for the Majar Alkabsh Makkah First 14-day packages. And then later on tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time, the Makkah First Al Muaysam camp packages. And then tomorrow we have 2 more webinars as well. In addition to this weekend, we also have a religious webinar. So I urge you to join all the programs and religious sessions that pertain to you, as the education that we're trying to provide will prepare you so that you have a smooth and easy Hajj, inshallah. Okay, so let's get into it, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the packages that I will be responsible for from a management perspective are the Majar Alkabsh Madinah First 14-day packages. So from the Al Burj service provider, that would be the Dar es Salaam Signature A, the DS Signature A packages, the Al Burj DS Signature B package, and the Al Burj DS Deluxe A package. For Sierra Mawasim, we have the Mawasim Elite DST 0001 package. And then for the Abdul Latif Jameel Hajj provider, we have Hajj Jameel Crown 1 and Hajj Jameel Dalla. So these are the 6 streams, packages, programs, what have you, that I will be with you on your journey. And as we have alluded to, we are one big Hajj family. So regardless of whichever service provider you purchased your package from, we're all one family working together, inshallah, going through the experience of Hajj together, which will be amazing, inshallah. Okay, a couple of housekeeping items. As Brother Ahmed alluded to, please save your questions to the end. This session is purely logistics. I'm not a sheikh, don't claim to be a sheikh, so any of your religious questions will be best handled on some of the other sessions that we have. And mashallah, we have some of the most amazing shuyukh that accompany us. So you will be in good hands, and they're always available to answer any questions you have. So the Hajj services delivery. So the responsibility for delivering Hajj services to the pilgrims is owned by the 3 Hajj service providers that I mentioned, Al Burj, Sira, and Abdul Latif Jameel. So this includes your airline, your accommodations in the kingdom, be it in Makkah, Medina, or in the hotels, all the transportation, services in the camp, and much, much more. So Dar es Salaam's role is basically we're working in cooperation with the Saudi Hajj provider in a supporting role. So basically, we're your guide on your trip. We're going to be with you. We'll be there face to face with you, help you answer any questions you have, whether it's logistic or religious, guide you, give you our tips. Mashallah, so many of us have performed Hajj many, many years, so we can give you our pro tips to make things easier for you, inshallah. Okay, so the disclaimer. So the webinar is provided for educational purposes only. This is simply for helping you to get a feel and understanding of what to expect regarding Hajj. Of course, when we're traveling for Hajj, there's many things outside of our control, and whether that being the weather, immigration processing, entry issues, law enforcement, government officials, so on and so forth. So we are with you, but we just want to make sure that you understand that there are many things outside of our control. Okay, so today's agenda. So basically, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into the itinerary than Brother Other did on his last logistics session. That was kind of a complete overview of all the packages with all the itineraries. So today we're going to focus specifically on those 6 packages that I previously mentioned and the Medina First only itinerary. And then at the end, we'll have time for Q&A, inshallah. Okay, so the first step, departing for Hajj. So luggage. So this is what we recommend. We recommend that you take 3 pieces of luggage. 1 large suitcase weighing not more than 50 pounds for all your, all your items that you're going to need on your trip. 1 carry-on bag that you'll need also for Mina, and then 1 backpack, which you'll need for the days of Hajj, Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah. Now, the airline, if you're traveling from the US, Canada, the airlines do allow 2 bags, 50 pounds each, or if you're traveling in a higher class of service, sometimes they even allow 3 bags. But we recommend, if you can, keep it down to 1 suitcase. It's just going to be easier for you because the more luggage you bring, the more things that you're going to have to keep track of, inshallah. So when you're on the day of departure, we're suggesting that everybody arrives to the airport early. Now, the reason we're suggesting this is I know many of you travel internationally, are used to going back home to meet your loved ones. But Hajj travel is unique. Hajj flights are specific. Hajj flights are always booked to the max. If you miss your flight, there's a chance that you may be delayed and you may not even be able to make it. So we don't want that to happen to anybody. So the best thing to do is arrive 4 hours early. I know it's a long time, but if you get there 4 hours early, regardless of how long the lines are, whether you're checking in or through security, inshallah, you'll have plenty of time. There's no stress. It's better to get there early and just relax at the gate until it's time to depart, inshallah. If you're traveling on a domestic flight that connects, so for example, if you live in LA like I do and you're flying to JFK for your flight out, we're suggesting that you don't check your bag all the way through. The reason being is if you're traveling on, let's say, JetBlue from here to JFK, from LAX to JFK, and then from JFK, you're on Emirates, flying from JFK to Dubai. If that bag doesn't get handed off properly, you may never see it until you come back. So I know it's a little bit more of an inconvenience, but just check it in from point to point. So if you're traveling from LAX to JFK, just check it in domestically, retrieve your bags in JFK, and then go to the Emirates counter and check it in again, and so on and so forth for all the airlines. So all of us are arriving to Medina. So here's what happens when you arrive. First of all, most of us have a connection, be it in Istanbul, Doha, Dubai, what have you. Once you take your connection flight and you arrive in Medina, this is so the airport's very nice. It was redone. It was a brand new airport, was built maybe about a decade ago. Very easy to maneuver. Immigration and customs are usually easier in Medina than in Jeddah. But because of the volume, the number of people that are arriving at the same time on the same day, immigration and customs can take some time. So I know after a long flight, we're all tired. But just be patient. We'll get through it. It's not too tedious, but just rest assured that we'll all get through it together. And then once you exit, we'll be there to greet you outside the secured area. So what does that mean? When you get to the luggage claim, it's your responsibility to bring your luggage out. Now, every year we have a few people that think that we're able to take care of the luggage from inside the secure area. That's not the case. You're responsible for your luggage. Bring it outside. There'll be trolleys in there that are free of charge. You're welcome to go get a trolley, load up your luggage, and then as you exit the luggage baggage claim area with your ID badge around your neck, that's when you'll see all your group leaders and the support staff, inshallah. Now, one important note: if you have a green card or a PR card, you will not need it. You only need that when you enter back into USA or Canada or UK. You do not need it in Saudi Arabia. So that document is very important. It should be secure, kept stored, but you don't need it when you enter Saudi Arabia. So once you exit, we'll be there. I'll be there to greet you, inshallah, as well as the rest of our team. We'll guide you to the bus. And typically the buses travel to each hotel. So if you're staying at Movenpick, there'll be a bus that's labeled Movenpick. If you're staying at Hilton, there'll be a bus that's labeled Hilton. We'll guide you. We'll tell you which bus to get on once the bus is full and loaded, and then we'll be on our way, inshallah. Now, one thing that's very, very important, when you go to your bus, visually check to make sure your baggage is loaded onto the bus. Because once we leave, we get to the hotel. If your bags are not on the bus, it's going to just create more anxiety for you. So just take the time, visually check that the bags are loaded. It'll just make your life a little bit easier, inshallah. Okay, so once we get to the hotel, so just as a reminder, now all of us travel all over the world and all the hotels have different arrangements. So for example, in the US, if you're traveling like husband and wife and 2 children, you can request a room with 2 queen-size beds and it's not a problem. You can usually, that suffices for a family of 4. But if you're traveling in Europe, the rooms are really tiny and they don't have rooms with 2 queen beds. Same thing in Saudi Arabia. There's a little bit different configuration when it comes to the hotel rooms. So the hotels, the standard hotels, be it in Medina or Mecca, you have standard configurations of 2 beds, which is double occupancy. Now, I know many of you have bought a triple package or a quad package. So what that means is they will add 1 or 2 beds to the room, whether it's a triple or a quad. Now, these are temporary cots. Now, don't worry, they're not as bad as like if you order a rollaway bed in the US, it comes with a very thin mattress. It's not comfortable at all. These beds actually have a nice size mattress, but they're not the standard beds. They're still a temporary bed, but they are comfortable. So if you have a triple or a quad, and let's say, 2 people in a quad have the temporary bed in Medina, maybe you swap and give it to your roommates. You give them the standard bed in Mecca. I mean, we're all here as a family, and this is a good way to show your sense of brotherhood and sisterhood to make it fair and comfortable for everybody, inshallah. Hotel check-in. So during this, especially during Hajj time, hotel check-in times vary greatly depending on the check-out times of the guests that were there previously. So generally, the check-in time is about 5 p.m., but that can vary. It can be later. We'll try our best to get the rooms earlier if you're arriving early. However, we just want to make sure that you're aware that you might have to wait for your room to get ready. So the hotels in Medina. So for our streams, for the 3 service providers, we have 4 hotels that we'll be using: Crown Plaza, Movenpick, Hilton, and Al Latiba. So you can see on the map where each of the hotel is located. Movenpick, Hilton, and Al Latiba are on the, I guess for what I call it, the front of the masjid, but it's on the opposite side of the Green Dome, opposite to the Rawda entrance. So on this side is for this side, the entrance for the women and the men are all on the front side of the Haram. Now, for those of you staying in the Crown Plaza, you're on the Green Dome side. So for the sisters, they'll have to walk around to the front, to our side to get to the women's entrance, inshallah. So while you're staying in Medina, it's important to get familiar with Masjid Nabawi so you don't get lost. For example, if you're staying at the Movenpick Hotel, you'll be entering through gate number 328 from the courtyard. So it's important that you remember that. And also you can visually see your hotel too. So you shouldn't get lost. It's pretty easy. Once it's the time to go for a ziyarah, you will have a ziyarah in Medina where you go to Masjid Quba, Ahad, and a few other places that we'll visit in Medina. We'll give you the instructions on how that will work in terms of what time we'll board the bus, when we'll be back, which day we're going. All that information, including the lectures for the Fiqh of Hajj, Fiqh of Umrah, and other general religious lectures, will be provided by your group leader on WhatsApp, inshallah. Okay, so most of us, or actually all of us will be, most of us will be departing on the 4th of Zulhijjah with the exception of Abdul Latif Jamil, the Latiba group. So we'll first go through the procedure for the other groups, and then I'll cover the procedure for the Latiba group. So for the rest of us, on the 4th of Zulhijjah, we'll get ready to travel. You'll be in your ihram, and we'll take the train. The night before, so for the groups leaving on the 4th of Zulhijjah, the night before we'll collect your big bags. So we'll take those and we'll transport them for you, and they'll meet you at your Makkah hotel, inshallah. So the only thing that you'll need with you is your ihram, your carry-on bag, your toiletries, and maybe just one change of clothes. So you want to travel light on the train. The train has restrictions against taking large bags. So that's the reason we'll take your large suitcase for you and transport it from the night before, and we'll provide you instructions on how that procedure will work once we're there. For those of you that are leaving on the 5th of June, the 10th of June, the 5th of Zulhijjah. So the Abdul Latif Jamil, the Latiba group, same procedure. So your bags will be picked up on the 4th of Zulhijjah. You'll get the blessings of having an extra day in Medina, and then you'll join us on the 5th of Zulhijjah in Mecca. And we'll go over that procedure in detail once we're in Saudi Arabia, inshallah. Okay. So this is the map of the hotels in Mecca. You can see where the Swiss Hotel is, where the Fairmont is in relation to the King Fahd Gate, the King Abdulaziz Gate. And then you'll also see in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, the Anjum Hotel. So the Abdul Latif Jamil packages will be staying at Anjum, and then the rest of us will be staying at either Swiss or Fairmont. So when you're in Mecca, the first thing we're going to do is, we're going to take the high-speed train from Medina, and we'll go over that procedure in detail when we're in Medina. But basically, the gist of it is we'll all go by bus from our Medina hotel to the train station in Medina. It's about a 30-minute bus ride, a little bit less. You'll have your carry-on, you'll be in ihram, and then we'll make our intention for Umrah on the bus, and we'll guide you on that, on what to say and how to perform that right. Once we get to the train station, we'll all board together. We'll have our train tickets. We'll board according to our train cars, and then we'll take the high-speed train to the Makkah train station, inshallah. It's about a 2.5-hour journey. It's very comfortable, very quick, and it's really made things easy since they've installed the trains as opposed to taking the bus. Once we arrive at the Makkah train station, we do everything in reverse. So we'll get off the train, we'll board the bus, and we'll take the bus to our Makkah hotel. And that's where you'll get your room, you'll check in, you'll collect your large bags there because they'll be waiting for you at the hotel. And then we'll also have a designated time for performing Umrah together. So once again, if you're in the Latiba group, you'll be arriving on the 5th of Zulhijjah into Makkah. And if you're in the other groups, you'll be arriving on the 4th of Zulhijjah. Now, typically we try and schedule a time in the evening when it's cooler, but your group leader and your imam will guide you as to the best time in the meeting place according to the crowds in the haram, inshallah. So after you're finished with Umrah, inshallah, then you'll be able to take off your ihram at this point. So you'll be out of your ihram for a few days while you're waiting for Hajj to start. So during this time, we'll have lectures, you'll be able to offer your 5 daily prayers in the haram. Obviously you'll get a time to do a little bit of shopping. You'll have your meals in the hotel, breakfast and dinner is included in your package. And we'll spend those days together, inshallah, and enjoy the city of Mecca. Okay, so on the 7th of Zulhijjah, anybody that's with the Al Burj Deluxe A. So this is the only shifting package we have in the group amongst the 6 groups that we have. So for you, this is the procedure. You're going to check out of your Makkah hotel. you're going to pack your belongings for your stay in Mina. Your checked baggage will be picked up again. So this is the large baggage, the same luggage that you shipped from Medina to your Makkah hotel. Now we're going to store it for you for the days of Hajj, the time that you're in Mina. So we'll give you a time, you'll place it outside, you'll place your luggage outside the room, we'll collect it, and then we'll store it for you. The plan right now, so all this is tentative. So right now the tentative plan is you'll check out of your room after Asr, you'll enjoy some time in the Haram, and then we'll depart for Mina after Isha, and you'll take your dinner in Mina, inshallah. Now, once again, this is only for the Al Burj Deluxe A shifting package. So, and just as a reminder, do not place your hand carry medicine or valuables with your checked luggage. You want to keep that in the room so it doesn't accidentally get stored, because you'll need those items in Mina, inshallah. Okay, so let's talk about the other groups now. So on the 8th of Zulhijjah, we will be departing for Mina. So for the groups Al Burj Signature A and B, the Sierra Mawasam Elite TST 001, and Jamil Crown 1 and Dalla, we will be going to depart by bus, and we'll go straight to Mina. For this, what you'll need is just your basic, basically you're only going to be gone for 48 hours. So you'll be in your ihram, so you don't need to, take that with you. You'll already be in ihram when you're traveling, but you'll need your toiletries, you'll need, your Quran, your dua book, and we'll go over that, and I'll give you some guidelines about that. So right now the timing is to be confirmed, but we'll depart Mina after breakfast, inshallah. All your checked baggage, your valuables, everything else will stay in the room. So you're not going to take that with you to Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah. You'll keep everything behind in your hotel room because you're in a non-shifting package, which means you get to keep your hotel during the days of Hajj. Okay. So what to pack? So let's talk about that. So what to take to Mina? You need your backpack. You need your backpack, and that's going to have your towel, toiletries, other essential items, a prayer mat. Sorry, let me just get back to the right slide here. Okay, so for those of you that are in a non-shifting package, the only thing you really need is a backpack. You want to travel as light as possible because you will be using the train during the days of Hajj for movement. So if you have your hotel, all you really need is just your medicine, the Quran, dua book, prayer mat, maybe some electrolytes if you brought them. Flashlight is useful for Muzdalifah, but if you have a cell phone, most of the time the flashlight is already there. So for all of us that have a non-shifting package, we really don't need to pack much, and we don't need any other luggage other than a backpack, okay? And don't forget, you're going to return back to your hotel to change out of your ihram once you're done with Muzdalifah, okay? So for the shifting package, so let's go through that. So if you're in the Al Burj Deluxe A shifting package, you're going to need two items. You're going to need to pack a carry-on, and you're going to need to pack a backpack. So for your carry-on bag, you'll need several change of clothes because you're going to be basically from the 7th of Zulhijjah till the 13th of Zulhijjah, you're going to be in Mina. So you'll need several change of clothes, a bath towel, toiletries, any other essential items you need, like medicine, for example. And you're going to be, as I said, out of the 6 days that you're going to be there, 2 days you're going to be in ihram. So, just pack accordingly. Please don't bring your big, large suitcase to Mina. There's just isn't space. If you feel like you're going to need more clothing, maybe invest in a carry-on bag that has the cinch ties, the compression bags. You can use those and pack more inside your carry-on. The issue is that you're going to be in your tent, you're going to pray in your tent, sleep in your tent, sit in your tent, take your meals in your tent, and there just isn't room inside the tent for large bags. You'll have enough room for your hand carry-on and a backpack. So those are the only two things you need for your stay in Mina, inshallah. Okay, so let's get into the Mina camp. So all of us are staying in the Majar Alkabsh, which is the Camp A. On the left side of the screen, you'll see the yellow circle, and then the red circle is the Jamarat. So you can see where it's very, very close. And I'll go through that procedure about how to perform Rami here in one of the upcoming slides. And just as a point of reference, you can see where the Al Muassam camp, it's quite a distance from where we are. Okay, so here's a kind of a close-up view. The shaded triangle that you see there in blue, that is our camp. So as you can see, it's about as close to the Jamarat as you can get. So alhamdulillah, we're all blessed to be able to stay there. It's very convenient, very nice, and you'll enjoy your stay in Mina, inshallah. And then it's kind of cut off, but in the very bottom left corner of the screen, you'll see the Mina train station number 3. That's where we'll go to catch our train, inshallah. So here's a view from the Jamarat there, the Jamarat bridge, actually. You can see the Majar Alkabsh camp. You can see off in the distance, in the center of the screen, the 2 tunnel holes. Those are the 2 tunnels that lead out of Mina to go into Azziya and the road that goes into Mecca. You can see the ramp to the Jamarat on the left side. So alhamdulillah, very, very close. So on the 8th of Zulhijjah, so this is the first day of Hajj. What's going to happen? So we're all going to travel by bus. We'll go to Mina. We'll get dropped off at the camp. We'll check in. So every tent will have a list of names, so you'll know exactly where you're staying. Of course, the tents are segregated. So even if you had a hotel room with your spouse or family, in Mina, we're all separated by gender. You'll have your meals here. So instead of breakfast and dinner, now you'll get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Mina. For those of you that don't have a hotel in Mecca, you have 3 meals here. For those of us that do have a hotel in Mecca, we'll have 2 meals in the hotel and 1 in Mina. And I'll go over that in a little bit more detail. So on the 8th of Zulhijjah, basically you're going to arrive, check in, get comfortable, kind of get familiar with the surroundings, and then you're just going to rest until the next day. There's not much going on. It's good to know where the washroom is, where you're going to take your meals, so just kind of get familiar. And then also, if you're traveling with your spouse or loved one and they're of the opposite gender, maybe you just might want to see generally where they are. We request that you don't go inside the sisters' tents. We have brothers that are trying to get a hold of their loved one. That's what your phone is for. Message them on WhatsApp, ask them to come outside and to a predetermined location where you can meet. But please, out of courtesy for our sisters, please do not poke your head in or go into the sisters' tent. And once again, it's going to be hot. We're gonna basically remind you of this so many times that you'll get tired of hearing about it, but I can't emphasize this enough. It is extremely hot. Most of us are not used to this kind of heat. So you want to drink as much water as you can. I guarantee you that you will not have to use the washroom. You're going to sweat most of it out. The expected temperatures are 110 to 116 Fahrenheit or 43 to 45 degrees Celsius. It could even be hotter. So just keep in mind that you want to stay hydrated so you don't faint. We have issues with brothers and sisters fainting every year, and it just makes your trip that much more challenging. So please stay hydrated. Inshallah. Okay, so one option that for those of you that are staying in the Makkah hotels, so we do have one option. You can leave on the 9th of Zulhijjah, the day of Arafat, and in that case, you would take a bus and go straight to Arafat and meet the rest of us that are traveling by train from Mina in Arafat. So that is an option that you'll have, and our group leaders and staff will go over that in detail with you when we're in Makkah to help you make the right decision. Okay, so as I alluded to, we're taking the train. So the day of Arafat, early in the morning, for those of us that are in Mina, we'll walk to the train station. There's 3 train stations for the Mashayar train. It's Mina 1, Mina 2, Mina 3, Arafat 1, Arafat 2, Arafat 3, and then consequently Muzdalifah 1, 2, and 3. Our station is going to be number 3. And it's really easy. Even though there's 3 stations, if you get on the train station from 3 in Mina, it's going to go to the train station in Arafat number 3 as well. So it doesn't make multiple stops. It's one way, one stop. Everybody gets on the train and everybody gets off at the train at the same location. Once you arrive in Arafat, our staff will be there to guide you to your camp. Most of the time, it's the first time that even us as guides get to see exactly where the camp is. So it's important to stay with your group leader so we can guide you, inshallah. So on the map, you can see where the different train stations are. Once again, we're going to be using train station 3. So Mina to Arafat, train station 3. Arafat to Muzdalifah, train station 3. And then Muzdalifah back to Mina, train station 3. Okay, so how do we get to the train station from Mina? So once again, the blue pie-shaped shaded area that you see on the screen, we'll walk out the front where you see King Fahad Road. That's the front of our camp. There's a big entrance. You can't miss it. We'll walk out the front of the entrance. We'll make a left, basically go to there's a giant, what looks like a giant silo, and it's a bank of escalators. So we'll take the escalators, go up a few levels. We'll walk across the ramp all together. We'll keep walking. You can follow along with the red arrows. You keep walking along the ramp, and so now we're traveling behind the Jamarat. Okay, so it's going to be past the Jamarat, and then we'll make a U-turn and we'll go to the train station. It's really easy. Everybody's going the same direction, so you can't get lost. And then, of course, we'll board the train and we'll arrive in Arafah, inshallah. So the departure plan will be that your group leader will advise the departure time. We, by the Ministry of Hajj, we're given specific departure times, so we can't just go anytime we want to, but they'll guide us and then we'll communicate that with you. So we ask that you stay in your tents, don't congregate at the front gate because there's several thousand people that are staying just in our groups inside the Mina camp, and you can imagine what a traffic jam would be, that would be if we all wait at the front. So just relax, there's no hurry. When we get to Arafat, we're going to have time to rest anyway. So we'll tell you one by one, group by group, when it's time to leave. Now, you will have the option to stay in Muzdalifah either until midnight or until after Fajr. It's just a little reminder that you don't need to take any bedding of any kind with you because the sleeping bag will be provided by all 3 Hajj service providers, inshallah, and you'll receive those in Arafat. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Arafat camp. So this is the day of the 9th of Zulhijjah. This is the whole reason that you have made all your plans. The culmination of your planning and your trip is this day. This is the most important day of Hajj, inshallah. So the camp is not located too far from the train station. You might have to walk like 10, 15 minutes to get to the camp. Once you get to the camp, we enter. It's for the 3 service providers. We'll guide you to the proper tent. Once again, it's separated by gender. The tents they're pretty large tents. Like they can accommodate anywhere from 200 to 500 people, depending on depending on how the tent is constructed. They have high ceilings. They have AC units. It's carpeted. They have the fold-out chairs that we have in Mina as well. The bathrooms are North American style toilets. You'll have your meals here. There's always cold drinks, whether they're in coolers or refrigerators, they're available, and we encourage you to drink as much as possible. The one thing about the day of Arafah, it's going to be hot. Pace yourself accordingly. When you arrive in the morning, there's really not much going on till Dhuhr time. So just take some rest. You're welcome to read Quran, do dhikr, get some rest, and then once it's time for Dhuhr, we'll make the adhan, and then that's when pretty much all the important, that's when the most important time of Arafah starts. So that's the time that you'll pour your heart out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and zikr. We'll have a few lectures, we'll do group du'as together, but this is the day that you really want to make sure that you're prepared. So we'll pray Dhuhr and Asr in congregation. We won't pray Maghrib. Even though we're leaving at Maghrib, we'll do our Maghrib prayer and Isha prayer in Muzdalifah. Now, one important notice. Every year, and I understand this, Hajj is a very emotional journey. We all want to go to Jabal Rahma. We've seen the pictures of the mountain covered in white with people in ihram, and we all want to have that experience. I do too. And alhamdulillah, even though I've been able to perform Hajj for several decades, I've never made it to Jabal Rahma. Why? Because the worst thing that can happen to you on this day is to get lost. All the tents look the same. There's no guide or road markings. So even if you make it to Jabal Rahma, you may not make it back. You'll get lost. Everything looks the same. There's also gates that are open and closed at different times. So there's no reason for you to go there. You can do dhikr and spend your time effectively inside the camp. So we ask that you all abide by that request and just stay within the camp, inshallah. So around Maghrib time, we'll all depart together and we'll do the same thing as we did in Mina. We'll all go group by group. We'll announce it when it's time. We'll head to the train station. Once again, this is Arafat train station 3, and we'll all go together to on the train, and we'll travel to Muzdalifah station number 3. Now, before you leave Arafat, we're going to remind you to grab some water bottles, keep them with you in your backpack, because it is going to be very hot. Once we get to the train station, there will be long queues. I mean, you can imagine we have 3 or 4 million people there. Half of those at least are using the train. So you can imagine how long the lines are going to be. So just be prepared. If you have trouble standing, well, you can bring a small like portable folding chair with you. You can buy those in Medina and keep it with you if you have trouble standing for long periods of time, and just use the chair, inshallah. Okay, so let's talk about Muzdalifah. So once we arrive by train in the evening to Muzdalifah, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to offer Maghrib and Isha prayers in congregation. So if you don't have wudu, there are washrooms there. Now, the one main difference between Muzdalifah washrooms and Arafah washrooms are basically for our groups, and we can service them, keep them clean for you. The washrooms in Muzdalifah, this is for all the Hujjaj. So you can imagine the condition of the bathroom. So if you need to, we always try and encourage people to use the washroom before you leave Arafah, because in Muzdalifah, it's a little bit more challenging. I mean, it's not bad, but it is a little bit more challenging than Arafah. You can definitely offer your wudu there if you need to make wudu. And then we'll pray together. We'll offer Maghrib and Isha. And then we will have a slight meal there. Drinks will be provided. You can collect your pebbles for the Jamarat here. Last year, this is the first time in my many years of performing Hajj, they actually provided a bag with the stones already collected for me. So that made it really nice. It was convenient. So inshallah, if they do that again this year, we don't have to collect the stones. They're already provided for us. But if not, this is where you'll take the time. You'll collect the pebbles. We'll give you the exact number. Obviously, the first day you're doing 7, 21 on the second day, 21 on the third day. And for you, those of you staying the optional 4th day, it'll be 21 on that day, which would be either, so that's either going to be 70 stones or 53. Sorry, 63. Let's see here. Once again, as a reminder, it is easy to get lost here. Everything looks the same. So just stay within your area. There's no real reason to wander around. Just if you need to go to the washroom, we encourage you to use the buddy system. Take somebody with you so that both of you can get the bearings and come back safely, inshallah. So as we touched upon before, there are 2 departures from Muzdalifah, one after midnight and one after Fajr. Now, our shuyukh will explain the differences, but basically, sisters, elderly, the sick, and those accompanying the sisters, the elderly and the sick are allowed to leave after midnight. So the procedure is you just go to the train station and it'll take you back to Mina. For the majority of us, we're going to stay till Fajr. So at that, for those of us staying till Fajr time, we'll offer Fajr prayer, and then we'll all go as a group to the train station, inshallah. Okay. So this is kind of a diagram of what to do when we arrive in Mina in reverse of what we did when we went to the train station. So in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see Mina Station 3. You'll exit the train station, you'll make a left, there's a long ramp, and then it makes a U-turn. You'll continue on the ramp, and then you'll go past the Jamarat. Now, the first day, we're only doing the big Jamarat, Jamarat Al-Kubra. So we're throwing the 7 pebbles, and we're doing only that one Jamarat on the day after you return from Muzdalifah. And then you'll continue on to the camp. So whether you're going back to Mecca or you're staying in Mina, our meeting point is always our Mina camp. It's just another diagram. So the one point of reference where it says Al-Baik House of Donuts, that's very close to the camp. So when you walk back, you'll pass the Al-Baik, and then you'll continue on to the camp, inshallah. Okay, so let's talk about Tawaf al-Ifada for the non-shifting packages. So for Tawaf al-Ifada, for those of you that have a hotel in Mecca, basically you're going to walk out the tunnel. No buses are allowed inside Mina during the days of Hajj. So we'll have to walk outside the tunnel, which is about a 25-minute walk. So you'll walk out the main entrance of the camp, you'll make a right, and you'll walk along the street through the tunnel until you get to the opposite side of the tunnel, and that's where the buses will be waiting. You'll board the bus, and the bus will take you to your hotel. And then, of course, you know, this is the day that you're able to get out of Ihram. Once your conditions are met. So if you need to get your hair cut, we have barbers in the camp. We also have barbers in Mecca, so you can go to any of the barbers in Mecca and get your hair cut there. And then, you know, your sacrifice will already have been done by that time, inshallah. So you'll be able to get out of your ihram, and this will be the best shower you have for a long, long time, because you'll have been in ihram for 2 days, so you'll be disheveled. It'll be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's the whole point of Hajj, is, you know, getting you out of your comfort zone. So once you arrive to Mecca, you can get out of your ihram, take a shower, and then if you're there and you want to go perform your Tawaf al-Ifada, you can do that. By now, you should be familiar with how to perform Tawaf. If you're not and you feel more comfortable going with your Imam or group leader, we'll also have schedules for that as well. And just as a reminder, we use air-conditioned buses for going back and forth between Mecca and Mina outside the tunnel. And then also, once you're done with Hajj and you leave Mina, you'll be transported by bus as well back to Mecca. Okay. So this applies to all the non-shifting packages, obviously. So once again, this is basically just a summary of what I just spoke about. Now, the one thing to remember is that once you go to Mecca and you get to enjoy Mecca, offering your prayers in the Haram, we'll be coming back to Mina in the evening. So we'll post the times, and we'll post the place that we're going to meet. Typically, it's in the hotel near the tunnel. And then we'll board the bus and we'll come back to Mina. Now, there will be traffic this time, obviously, with the millions of people that are there. One of the things that when you're going back and forth between Mina and Mecca, you do have to bear in mind that there will be traffic. It could take several hours to get back to Mina. Okay, now for the shifting package. So let's talk about that. So if you're in a shifting package, obviously you don't have a hotel in Mecca. So when you get back to Mina, we'll have barbers in the camp. You can get your hair cut. For the sisters. You can have another sister trim your hair, and that'll suffice for you. And then once you're done getting your hair cut, you can get out of your ihram, take a shower, and then go back to your tent and rest. For Tawaf al-Ifada, for those that are staying in Mina, there is a schedule from the Ministry of Hajj. So we'll have to follow that transportation schedule. We'll let you know what that is. And then once we know our timing, we'll announce that. We'll do the same thing. We'll walk out the tunnel, catch the bus, go to Mecca, perform your Tawaf al-Ifada, and then we'll give you the bus schedule to return back, inshallah. And then in the evening, obviously, you'll be spending the night in Mina. Okay. So for the days that we're in Mina, obviously for the shifting package, you will be performing Rami for 3 days. So as I mentioned before, you have the first day of 7 stones, and then the next 3 days of 21 stones each day. And then also while we're in Mina, we'll have the opportunity to attend lectures. We'll do salah together in congregation. And then obviously we encourage everybody to engage in dhikr. Okay, so let's go over how to perform Jamarat. So it's really easy, and it's gotten much easier over the years. So now, as from the diagram that you saw earlier, and here it is actually, when we walk out the camp, same thing. We're going to walk to the silo that has the escalators, the bank of escalators. We'll take that, go through the ramp, and then on the second day, which is the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, we will throw Rami at all 3 Jamarats. So the procedure is the group leader will take you. They'll announce it in the tents. They'll post it on WhatsApp. Anybody wanting to go, and we'll have multiple times. So if you don't want to go at a certain time because you're tired, you'll have the opportunity to do it with other timings and other groups as well. So we'll all go together. We'll perform Rami at the 3 Jamarats, and then we'll come back to our Mina camp, inshallah. All right, so once we're done, at this point, we're almost done with Hajj. Once we're finished our days in Mina, which is the 10th, 11th, and 12th, for those that are in a non-shifting package, your last day in Mina will be the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. So the night of the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, we'll all stay the entire night. The night of the 10th, obviously, we'll come back to to Mecca after midnight. But on the night of the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, which is day 12 for most of you, the night of the 11th, which is day 11. So on the night of the 11th, all of us will stay in Mina, because the reason for this is to go back to Mecca, spend the night, and then come back by Fajr time to Mina just for only throwing the Rami doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because you'll spend a majority of the night and morning stuck in traffic. So on this night, the night of the 11th, all of us will be in Mina staying together. And then once we perform Rami, we'll go back to Makkah. And then once it's time to leave for the airport, we'll give you a timing. So generally, we advise about 9 hours before your return flight time. You'll want to perform Tawaf al-Wada and then be ready to go to Jeddah Airport. Typically, we depart 6 hours prior to your departure time out of Jeddah Airport. Now, for the shifting package, which is Al Burj Deluxe A, you're going to be staying the optional night in Mina. So you'll be departing on the 13th. So in the morning, you'll throw your Rami, and then we'll transfer you to Makkah by bus. So you'll gather up all your belongings, your carry-on, your backpack, anything else that you have with you. And then we'll go to Makkah. We'll have a meeting point. So you'll drop off your carry-on and your backpack. That'll be stored for you. You'll go and perform Tawaf al-Wada. You'll come back, and then we'll transport you to your Jeddah hotel, which is where you'll have your stay until it's time to depart out of Jeddah Airport, inshallah. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're departing Saudi Arabia. So the question always arises, when am I going to get Zamzam? What do I do with the dates? So every Haji will be provided 1 complimentary Zamzam. It's 5 liters. It's packed in a box. You can see in the picture that the bottle is wrapped in plastic. It's sealed. And then that plastic bag and bottle is sealed inside a box. So it's double sealed. All the air carriers are familiar with Zamzam water. They allow it, whether it's a domestic flight or an international flight. For your international flight, it won't count as one of your pieces. So if you're allowed 2 large suitcases of 50 pounds each and 1 carry-on, the Zamzam does not count in that allotment. So for your return flight back home, you can take the Zamzam free of charge. Now, once you arrive in your home country, if you have a domestic flight, usually if you tell the counter, I'm transporting holy water, they usually let it go. They'll check it in and not charge you, but it's just based on the carrier that you're taking. If you're bringing back dates, which I think most of us are, You declare it, there's no problem. It's dried fruit, so there's no issue with bringing it back in. Okay, so let's go over some important updates for you. So first of all, I know many of you asked, so I just wanted to kind of give you an update on where things stand. So let's go through your ticketing. So for your group flight tickets, all of them are currently being processed, and they are expected to begin being posted on Nusuk or emailed to you by the end of next week, should you have not received it yet. I know many of you have already received your tickets. The group tickets will come into your email. The ones that come from Nusuk, they should be emailed to you as well, or check on Nusuk. For the Abdul Latif Jameel group and airline date issues, so those of you traveling with the ALJ packages, you know the issues that you're having. So we've been in touch with them literally every day trying to get updates. Despite the challenges with Nusuk and the airlines, we're working diligently on your behalf to try and get those dates changed. So hopefully, inshallah, we hope to have a final answer for you by Monday or Tuesday at the latest. For those of you arriving in a different city, so if all of us are starting in Medina first, but if your flight terminates in Jeddah, you'll be provided a free train or bus transfer by the service provider. If it's a custom flight, so if you booked a custom flight through Nusuk, the guidelines for purchasing transfer options will be provided through the service provider once we gather everyone's details. Alternatively, if you want to book your own domestic ticket, which I know many of you have, you just want to get to Medina as quick as possible and don't want to wait for a bus or train, you can definitely do that. You can buy a domestic ticket. We can help you with that, or you can do that on your own. You just it's basically flying on Saudi Airlines nonstop from Jeddah to Medina, and then we would pick you up in Medina, inshallah. The main thing about that, though, is if you do anything on your own, you have to let us know so that we're aware of when you're arriving, inshallah. For the guides, the rooming, and other updates. So what this refers to are your guides, meaning your group leaders, your imams, your sister coordinators, your rooming list. So basically if you've taken a package that has members staying in the room that are not your family, so other roommates, we're still finalizing all those details, and we'll provide that to you. As you know, we've shifted from Telegram to WhatsApp strictly as a means of communication. So once we have that information, we'll post it on WhatsApp. Inshallah, right now we're planning May 20th. We're just finalizing all your requests. Mashallah, there were a lot of requests for different requests that you had, whether it's needing an outlet in Mina for a CPAP machine, or a request for staying with a specific friend or family member. So we're going through all that information just to make sure that we address every request that you've made, inshallah. And then let's touch upon the visas, because I know everybody's asking about visas. This is for the people that haven't received them yet. They're still in process. So basically what we're saying is just be patient till May 15th. If you haven't gotten your visa by May 15th, which I anticipate most of you will by then, I think they're about 60–70% of the way through processing the visas. I know many of you, your spouse received it and you haven't. It's completely random. There's nothing wrong, nothing to worry about. It's not like they're doing additional processing on the visa that you haven't received if you've already received one for your family member. It's just, this is how they do it. Just be patient. It's very normal. It's done this way every year. So May 15th comes, we'll give you the instructions on WhatsApp on what needs to be done next. We're probably just going to gather data and then reach out to the service provider and let them know these are the people that don't have visas, and then we'll get an answer for you, inshallah. Okay, let's touch upon wheelchairs. This is a very important issue for those of you that need it. So just bear with me even if you don't. So the first option, and this is the option that the first two options are the options that I would recommend. So obviously your first option is BYOW, bring your own wheelchair. So if you are dependent on a wheelchair or traveling with a family member who can assist you, meaning this person will push you throughout the days of Hajj, Makkah, Medina, then bringing your own wheelchair is highly recommended. The airline will take it as a check-in. You just check it in all the way to Medina. and then you'll retrieve it in Medina. The second option, if you don't really need it, say at the airport, in either your gateway from the US, UK, Canada, or you don't need it when you arrive in Medina. Now you can definitely require wheelchair assist. You can request wheelchair assistance at the airport if you so need it. But if you're not going to need it immediately, then I would suggest just buying it in Medina. You can do that. That way you don't have to carry it out with you and then bring it back. They're relatively inexpensive, maybe about $100 US. They're available at all the pharmacies. You can reach out to any one of your group leaders and they'll take you, and you can purchase one. All the wheelchairs look the same. So if you can bring anything that will identify yours, like maybe a ribbon or bow. And then also if you're planning to purchase your own, maybe like bring a little bike lock with you, because all the wheelchairs look the same and people don't intentionally take your wheelchair, but because they don't know which one it is, they'll just they'll take it by mistake. So bring a bike lock with you so that you can secure it, and then it's yours when you need it. Now, just as a reminder, I know for the packages that you bought through Nusuk, there was an option that said, do you need a wheelchair? So the service providers will have wheelchairs for you to use, but they're on a loan basis. And you can imagine, when it's time to move, if that wheelchair is not there, it's going to create a problem. So once again, even if you've already requested a wheelchair through your service provider, we are strongly suggesting that you either bring your own or purchase one when you arrive in Medina. Now, the last, I guess, option would be for those that are traveling alone. So if you don't have any family member that can push your wheelchair, then this is an option for you. So you can rent an electric wheelchair. The rental cost will be $315 US if you need it from the 4th of Zulhijjah until the 13th of Zulhijjah. So basically from the day you arrive in Mecca until the day Hajj is over. So if you need it during that time, we can help you rent one, and that would be $315. If you only need it for basically the days of Hajj, Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, which is the 7th of Zulhijjah through the 13th of Zulhijjah, then that price would be $225. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the roads, the pathways, everything, it's not extremely wheelchair friendly. Most places are easy to get around, but there will be some places that are challenging. But especially if you're traveling solo, don't hesitate to reach out to one of ours to kind of help you navigate something. If there's a ledge or a curb or something and you're not sure, just make sure you ask either another Haji or your group leader to assist. But the important thing to remember is that we no longer have access to hiring someone. In the past, we used to offer services where we can hire a person to push you during the days of Hajj. But that person needs a Hajj permit. He's going to be with you during your days of Hajj. So he needs space in the tents, needs space in Arafah, in Mina, Muzdalifah. And basically you're paying for that person's Hajj. That used to be an option. It's no longer an option. The ministry has made it very difficult for the Saudi Hajj service providers to get those permits. So that's why in lieu of that, we're encouraging anybody that's a solo traveler to rent an electric wheelchair. So the QR code that you see on the screen, if you think that you need the electric wheelchair, you can fill out the form right now. Just snap the QR code. The form for the electric wheelchair is due by May 15th. We need to get your information. We need to get payment. We need to let them know so that they can reserve an electric wheelchair for you ahead of time. So if that's something that you think that you will need, go ahead and fill out that form, please. If you just need a wheelchair for tawaf and sa'i, then you don't need to worry about any of this. What we'll do the day that we go for tawaf, the group leader will guide you to the haram, and he'll take you to the area where you can rent one of the uniformed helpers at the haram to push you for tawaf and sa'i. And we'll go over that procedure with you, the group leader will. But basically, in a nutshell, you want to let them know where the pickup and drop off point is, and you'll have a predetermined amount that they will charge, and you just pay them when you're finished. But keep in mind that for most of us, we're going to try and do our tawaf in the mataf area on the ground floor around the Kaaba, whereas the wheelchair area is separate. And then also there is the option for scooters for sa'i as well, for tawaf and sa'i. So if instead of a wheelchair, if you'd like to rent a motorized scooter at the haram, those services are available as well. Okay, so we've covered everything. And I just wanted to kind of give you one little last pro tip. So we're traveling to Saudi Arabia. We're going to be around millions of people. You've got our brothers and sisters from all over the world. We come from different backgrounds. We have different customs, different cultures, different norms. So just keep that in mind. Every year people ask why did you tell me to meet at 10 a.m. when the bus didn't arrive till 11 a.m.? Was there pushing and shoving in the haram? That we're performing an act of ibadah. Don't they know any better? You can spend the entire trip going through whys, or you can spend the trip for the purpose that you're there, and that's worshiping our Almighty Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I just be patient. That I'm going to be reminding you of this. I have to be patient as well, because I have to be responsible for all of you as well. So just take your time, be patient, understand that this is something that's been commanded for us to perform by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're doing it by his commandment, and we're doing it for him. So just be patient, stay calm. We'll get through this together. All of us are seasoned veterans. We're here to make it as easy as possible, but just based upon the sheer numbers of people, the logistics, everything that's involved. I mean, there's so much movement during Hajj. You will be tested, you will be challenged, but just have sabr, and inshallah, we'll get through it. Okay, so we can go through the Q&A now. So if you have posted your questions and you've upvoted, we can go through the questions here.
I think, brothers and sisters, you take your time going to the Q&A and upvote it, so we can pick the ones that has the most upvotes. Take your time and upvote it, please. There are 52 questions already there. Just make sure you upvote the questions. We'll just, we won't be able to answer all 52, but we'll take the most popular ones.
Yeah, inshallah, I'll pause for like a few seconds and let people type in their questions, and then do the upvote, inshallah. Okay, so let's get started. So first question is, do we need to pack a towel, or is this taken from Makkah hotel with us to Mina? So the hotel towels obviously are the property of the hotel. If you feel like you want to borrow one, but you want to make sure you want to return that, I think it's okay. Obviously, it's better if you pack your own towel. You're only going to need a towel in Mina for those that are on the shifting programs. The non-shifting, you're going to be taking your shower back in your hotel room, so you don't really need to pack a bath towel. You can take a hand towel for the washroom if you want, but there's really no need to pack a bath towel. Next question is, please outline regarding the immigration entry process for pilgrims who are Medina first, but landing in Mecca to connect to Medina via connecting flight. Do they go through immigration in Mecca or Medina? Great question. So first of all, there's no airport in Mecca, so you're going to be landing in Jeddah. So for those of you that are starting in Medina and landing in Jeddah, yes, you will go through your customs and immigration in Jeddah. Once you finish your customs and immigration, you'll collect your luggage, you'll come out, And then if you're taking a flight, we'll show you where the check-in counter is. You'll have to check your baggage in again. For those of you that are taking a bus or train, we'll guide you to where the bus is to either go to the train station or the bus to go to Medina, inshallah. Are we still getting SIM cards from Al Borj, or do we have to arrange this ourselves? Another great question. So I know in the package it showed, the package that you purchased, especially from Al Borj, I know it showed that a SIM card is one of the included items. So now the difficulty is they want to include it, but the Ministry of Hajj and the regulations within the country of Saudi Arabia are such that no person can now obtain a SIM card without a thumbprint and without your passport. Used to be we could get them for you, but now we can't. So the short answer is no, they're not going to be providing them. If you need a SIM card, first of all, your phone must be unlocked. When you arrive to Medina, your group leader will take you to where the kiosk is for one of the three carriers, Mobily, Zain, STC, and you'll have your, well, you won't have your passport, so you'll need to keep a picture of it because they will take your passport from you when you land in Medina. So you'll take a copy of your passport and you'll take, you'll just go to the kiosk, they'll take your thumbprint and then you can get a SIM card that way. Next question was, we couldn't get into the group flight. We are arriving in Medina on the 7th of June with custom flight. Will there be someone to guide us at the airport? Also same question for the departure. Will there be any help for us when we leave from Makkah or Jeddah as a non-group member with custom flight traveler? So if you have a custom flight, first of all, you have to share that data with us because Nusuk doesn't have it, the provider doesn't have it. So the only way that we can help you is if we know when you're arriving. So with custom flights, we had a survey that was sent out. It's imperative that you share that information with us. Now, once we have your airline information, yes, we will be, so we have staff that stays in Jeddah. We have staff at the Medina airport as well. So we can provide assistance for you at those airports should you need it. Now, the assistance will only be outside the secure areas. So if you're going through customs and immigration and you need help inside the secure area, we can't help you there. But once you exit baggage claim and you're in the public area, we can definitely help you. Is Tawaf al-Ifada done in Ihram? So yes, you can do Tawaf al-Ifada in Ihram. So if you want to get back, for those of you that are leaving Muzdalifah after midnight, and you're trying to beat the crowd that's coming in after Fajr, you can definitely go back to Mecca and just do your Tawaf al-Ifada in your Ihram. You don't even have to take a shower and just get it done and then go back, shower, and then rest. Will we have enough time to come back to Mina before Maghrib after doing Tawaf al-Ifada on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah? So the answer is that because you're performing a rite of Hajj, and this is obviously a question that a sheikh can answer better than I can, but for Tawaf al-Ifada, you don't have that deadline or requirement that you have to be in Mina by Maghrib. So we'll perform Tawaf al-Ifada. In fact, a lot of us have our timing from the ministry that you're leaving at night. So we leave at, like, let's say 8 p.m. after dinner, and then we're pretty much gone most of the night, but it's okay. It's permissible. Is there an ID card that will be provided to all pilgrims to identify the group we belong to? Yes, you will get an ID card. When and where will it be provided? I believe that will be shipped to you with your ID badge. And if you live somewhere where we can't ship it to you, we'll give it to you when you land in Medina, inshallah. If we are to incur in-room charges, whether laundry or room service, how do we settle that? Another great question. So there's no credit card on file like every other hotel you stay at in the world. So what will happen is if you order room service, it's going to be automatically charged to your room. Before you leave Medina, we'll remind you to settle your room charges. Before we leave Makkah to go to Jeddah, we'll do the same thing. We'll remind you to settle your room charges. So the procedure is you just go to the front desk, tell them the room you're in, and they will take care of your room charges. You can charge it to your credit card. You can pay cash, whatever is easier for you. I have an Abdul Latif Crown Plaza 1 package with my wife. We arrived Jeddah on June 9th at 2:10 a.m. I will be transported to Medina on June 9th from Jeddah at this day at an early hour. So great question. There's no trains running at 2 a.m. Usually that's later in the morning, maybe about 8 a.m. We'll advise you, we're still working on the details. We're gathering all the information on the numbers basically of when everybody's arriving. So once we have all that data, we'll communicate that with you. We still have about through a little over 3 weeks before we depart. So we'll let you know well in advance of your departure time, what the procedure will be once you land in Jeddah and how you'll be getting to Medina, inshallah. Inshallah, we're traveling from Dubai to Medina with a transit through Riyadh. Are there any specific logistics we need to consider? No, when you land in Riyadh, you'll do your customs immigration there, and then you'll be exiting out the domestic terminal in Medina. Once again, it's important for you to let us know your flight times if you already haven't, so we can arrange transportation for you. How about transportation between Mecca to Medina after Hajj? We didn't hear anything about it for people of custom flights. So everybody on this webinar should be following the Medina first schedule. So unless if you have a flight, I'm assuming this question is regarding your flight. So your flight must be leaving out of Medina to go back home. So if that's the case, we'll also advise you what the procedure is. The service provider will provide you transportation on getting to Medina to catch your international flight. So we'll work on that and we'll let you know. We have some time on that as well. I'm in a non-shifting program, but planning to stay the nights in Mina. What should I pack? So same thing that if you're planning on staying in Mina, so this is an option for everybody actually, whether whether you want to stay in Mecca and use your hotel or you don't. If you want to stay in Mina, then you should pack accordingly because you'll be there. Obviously the 8th of Zulhijjah and the 9th of Zulhijjah, you'll be in Ihram, but then the 10th and the 11th, you'll need a change of clothes, and then in the morning of the 12th, you can go back to your Mecca hotel. You can use the same transportation that the rest of the non-shifting program is using. Any issue on getting an eSIM any issue with getting an eSIM from here before leaving? That option hasn't been identified as one that can be done. So I'm assuming like you're wanting to get an eSIM online from one of the many third-party carriers. Yeah, you can do that as long as the eSIM has Saudi Arabia listed as a country that they operate in, and your phone will work. There's no issue there. Question on when do we find out when Abdul Latif packages will have an updated arrival date to Medina? If we miss out on Medina, when will airline tickets get issued? So the slide that I reviewed this information in, it's still being worked on. Inshallah, we'll give you an answer no later than Tuesday. For people that leave Muzdalifah at midnight, when do they throw the Jamarat? So you'll be coming back to Mina in the afternoon, so you can throw the Jamarat then. I believe that you can throw the Jamarat after midnight, but I'd rather you ask that question to a sheikh. From your experience, if we book our own flight from Jeddah to Medina, how much time should we anticipate between arrival, luggage recuperation, and new flight departure? So if you are, well, first of all, if you're arriving, let's say at midnight or 1 in the morning, I think you'll find that the earliest flight will probably be 4 or 5 a.m. So I would say, to be on the safe side, give yourself at least 3 hours to get to customs and immigration and another hour to get through security for your domestic flight. So minimum 4 to 5 hours before your domestic flight if you're flying into Jeddah, inshallah. For the walk from the camp to the buses through the tunnels, are there any golf carts or scooters to help people who have difficulty walking? Another great question. So in the past, there were golf carts available, but the ministry has done away with those. So everybody should have the expectation that they will be walking that 25-minute walk through the tunnel. If you have difficulty walking, then you should probably take the option of having a family member push you in a wheelchair, or worst case would be if you needed to rent an electric wheelchair for that purpose, that's an option as well. But we shouldn't anticipate having golf carts or scooters. Are we allowed to forfeit the flight going to Medina and still keep the returning flight? So if you have a group flight that originates from Europe, Canada, US, if you take the group flight, let's say for argument's sake, JFK to Dubai, and you don't take the flight that goes from Dubai to Medina, you are what's considered by the airline a no-show. So your entire ticket, which is mainly the return portion, will cancel. So if you are planning to use your return leg of your group flight, any portion of it, you have to take the connecting flight into Medina. I hope that's clear. Can you clarify that with the situation, the form to choose for Crown Plaza 1 was not clear at all and has sent 2 emails but have not received any answer. The deadline is given for May 15th. Please clarify so we can choose the correct one and pay. So if you're with Al Borj, all the Udhiya I know is taken care of. It's already included in your package, so this doesn't apply to anybody that is traveling with Al Borj. For the other service providers, I send your group coordinator an email again. I'll make sure that they answer to it. And they probably did. It might be in your spam. We're inundated with so many emails, but we definitely want to get your Qurbani taken care of. So you can even reach out to me as well. I work out of the LA office with Dar es Salaam. So you can just ask for me, Arif, and I'll help you with that as well, inshallah. If there is a significant gap between arriving in Medina and check-in, can we leave our luggage somewhere and go to the Haram? Yes. All the hotels have bell desks. You're welcome to leave your luggage there. And, you go enjoy the Haram, come back. And then when it's time to check in, you can retrieve your bags. When transferring from Medina to Makkah via train, how will wheelchair be transported? Same questions to Mina. So you can take the wheelchair on the train. There is accommodations for that. There's a little small area where you can put your carry-ons, so you can store your wheelchair there. But yeah, if you need the wheelchair for the train, you can definitely take it for the train, inshallah. Okay, so I'll take a few more questions. It's getting close to the end of the time, and there's another webinar that's about to start as well. I know the tents and rooming are segregated by gender, but rituals like Rami, Tawaf, and Sa'i, will the family be in the same group? Yes. So the only segregation we have is for the sleeping arrangements. If you want to take your dinner and have a meal with your family member or spouse outside, you can certainly do that. It's not that there's no barrier to prevent men and women from interacting with each other. We use the same hallways, the same pathways, so you will see your family members, so don't worry about that. But as far as like sleeping, obviously the washrooms, things like that, everything is gender segregated in Mina and Arafat. And in Muzdalifah, it's just one open area, but we'll make a request that you allow the sisters to sleep on one side of the area and the men on the other, just to make it comfortable for the sisters. What will be provided for us? Drawstring bag, dua books, umbrella, etc. So we're going to this week send you a list, inshallah, of what will be provided. I can tell you that dua books and drawstring bags, umbrella, those items that you listed will be provided, as well as a few other items, and we'll go over that with you, inshallah, this week. Okay, so last 2 questions, and then we'll close the session, inshallah. When traveling from Medina to Mecca, will pilgrims be provided pre-purchased tickets by the service provider before boarding the train, or are the pilgrims expected to purchase the train tickets in advance at the designated travel time appointed by their respective group leaders? So all of us are going by train from Medina to Mecca. That's part of your package. Your train tickets are already included. So when we take the bus and we're traveling from our Medina hotel to the Medina train station, we'll hand each one of you your train ticket. It'll have a seat number on it. We'll try and group you, obviously, by family, so you guys can all sit together. But yeah, we'll provide that, so you don't have to worry about buying any train tickets, inshallah. Last question is, Assalamu alaikum, do we have to leave our US passport with Saudi immigration in Medina and return back after 1 day, or will it be returned back the same day? Also, for shifting packages, do we have to carry baggage to the Haram ourselves, or will there be a common location to keep it before departing to Mina camp after Isha? Okay, so two-part question. The first part, so the regulation for US passports is as you're exiting the secure area, there will be a representative from the Ministry of Hajj that will be collecting your passport from you. Now, I know this is always a process that causes a lot of anxiety for everybody, including myself, but alhamdulillah, in the several decades I've been going, they've never lost my passport. They have a system. They do keep track of your passport. Every time you have movement, whether you're going from Medina to Mecca, Mecca to Jeddah, they're always tracking your movement, and your passport goes to the city that you're in. So if you start in Medina and you end in Mecca, before it's time to head to the airport, you will get your passports back. So and in terms of exactly, do you get it back 1 day or 2 days? All I can say is you'll get it back with enough time before you board the bus. I don't know the exact timing and the day. They'll let us know, but you'll get it in plenty of time, so you don't have to worry. So don't worry about that. For the shifting packages, do we have to carry baggage to the Haram or no? So for the shifting packages, we're going to store your large luggage for you. When you're done with your days in Mina and you come back to Mecca for tawaf, for your final tawaf, you will get your baggage once you get to Jeddah. You're going to be checking into a Jeddah hotel. So we'll transport your bags for you there, and then they'll be waiting for you as you check into your hotel room, and you'll have access there. So Jazakallah khair, everyone. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. I'm really excited that we'll be spending 2 weeks performing Hajj together. It's such a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has chosen me and all of you to go so we can share in this experience together. It's my commitment to you that I will do everything in my power to make your Hajj as comfortable as possible, but I will need your cooperation to help in this process. This is truly an example of brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam. So take that opportunity to care for one another, to take the time to make new friends. I mean, I can honestly tell you from my own personal experience, some of my closest friends I've made are from Hajj, and which is remarkable, because I didn't think, especially at my age, that I would be making new friends. But I have made so many near and dear friends that are so close to my heart. It's truly an amazing experience that you're going through together. So take the time to get to know one another. I mean, that's one of the beautiful aspects of Hajj, is getting to know your brothers and sisters in Islam. So Jazakallah khair, everyone. Thank you for your time. We'll be opening up the WhatsApp groups for two-way communications, I think, in another week. So then we'll be able to answer a lot of your questions on WhatsApp as well. So don't worry, we have plenty of sessions, plenty of times, lots of opportunities to ask questions. And we want to make sure everything is clear in your mind before you leave. And then once you get there, we'll be there to guide you every step of the way. Jazakallah khair. Have a fantastic weekend. And I look forward to meeting all of you soon, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.